Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are joining from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much, and remember.
Thank you so much, everyone. Reactions have continued to trail a poll report released by ANAP Foundation done in partnership with NOI Poll. The poll shows that the 2023 presidential election is a three-horse race between the candidates of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, All Progressives candidate Bola Tinubu, and the PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar. According to the result of the poll, which was commissioned by the ANAP Foundation and conducted by NOI, the polls are limited. Mr. Obi is leading the race with 21% of the votes in the poll. His votes give him an 8% lead over APC's Tinubu and PDP's Atiku Abubakar, who each got 13%. They are in joint second race in the votes to end up as second runner-up in the lead to the 2023 election. Now, the presidential candidate of the Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, was fourth with 3% of the votes. Now, APC campaign has been reacting, and we're already seeing reaction from other political parties. Let's get their reactions and make sense of what this poll mean and whether there is any effect on the presidential election of 2023. I'm being joined by spokespersons of three political parties, in exception of Labour Party, because they have the advantage in this one. So let's get reactions. We have joining me virtually Mr. Bayo Onanuga, a spokesperson of the Tinubu and the APC Presidential Campaign Council. He joins us from Ijebu-Ode. And here also we have Mr. Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin, a former member of the House of Reps and a spokesperson of the NNPP and the Kwankwaso Presidential Campaign Council, as well as Dr. Daniel Boala Alaya, and the spokesperson of the Atiku and the PDP campaigns organization. Thank you so much indeed, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you.
Perhaps I should begin from where it seems to have hurt the most, and that will be for the NNPP. You are being categorized as, in fact, out of the race, because the race has been described as a three-horse race. And how does your principal feel about it and your party?
Well, let me correct that statement. We are not hot in any way. Absolutely, we are not hot. In fact, coming to this program, I was contemplating not to come, because coming here, we've made the people who promoted the pool to achieve what they want to achieve, because all they want to do is to put it in a public conversation. We continue to talk about it, creating the image as if Obi is very much right. But let me say this. NOI in 2015 projected clearly that Jonathan is going to win the election. Jonathan lost the election. Many other work that they've done, all have been proven wrong. There is no any work that they've done where you can say that the projections are right or anything. Well, that is the extent that I will go in giving any recognition to that statement. It is absolutely false. It's not a representation of a reality on ground, particularly if you are talking about the northern part of the country. Repeatedly, I've said this, and in a matter of 3-4 months, the fact will emerge. Rabiu Kwankwaso has the northern part of Nigeria locked down. And let me say this. Apart from northern part of the country, the two other parties, even though we are not here to discuss two other parties, the case of APC is damaged already. And that is why you see what APC does is to run its campaign around Aswaju, whom I believe that he is a good pilot. But the problem is not Aswaju, the problem is a party. The party is damaged. So it's like saying you have a good pilot and you have a bad aircraft. So what APC is asking Nigerians to do is to go and fly in a bad aircraft because they have a good pilot. It is not going to. It's not going to work. The two parties, including the one of my very good friend Boala, PDP and APC are in a mess.
Interestingly, both of you are product of the APC.
Well, you can say, for me, I was a product of the PDP, then the APC, then of course NNPP. Some people think it has a disadvantage going around, but it has a major advantage because I have seen PDP, I have seen APC, and now I'm in NNPP. The major difference between APC and PDP is that PDP is damaged, APC is damaged, but PDP is saying, yes, we agree we are bad, but we are better than APC. Now, the point is that when the chiefs are down in January, when the fireworks really gets to its peak, the reality will come up. What people keep saying is that Kwankwaso doesn't have a reach in the southern part of the country. We don't like to pretend. Where he has completely locked down is the northern part of the country. But we're making sufficient inroad in the southern part of the country. That is enough to make us win the next election.
The comments against your party saying your candidate is a regional candidate?
He's not a regional candidate.
But you said you have
every candidate has where he has dominance. Dominance. For instance, if you talk about Aswaju, I don't think anybody who is wasting his time, the Yorubas are not stupid. They will vote him in the presidential election. But we as NNPP will be able to get some chunk of vote, particularly Lagos, Ibadan. We're making sufficient inroad. But at the end of the day, Aswaju will still take it. The Yorubas will still vote. They will vote theirs. The only place Obi will demystify structure is in the southeastern part of the country. That is where, whether he has a structure or he doesn't have a structure, he will make an impression because the Labour Party and their candidate are divisive elements. And all they have done is just to divide Nigeria. That's why they can never win the election.
Let me bring
for
in Mr.
For PDP, they will have a pinch of little here and there, and it's not going to be enough to make them win the election.
Let me allow Mr. Bola to.
I like that.
Both of you, interestingly, very good friends of Bola Tinubu. Right. At one point, you were even working for him, but you find yourself on the other side.
Certainly.
So the poll, how does it come to you? Is it a surprise?
No, well, to answer the first one, if your house is on fire, everybody looks for safety, and that's why I left APC to PDP. But you don't have much time. Let me quickly attack the issue of the poll. Now, a normal poll that will attract credibility will be a poll that clearly, in one breath, as you release the report, you must also release the sample size and the margin of error. These are basics. Because the sample size and the margin of error will help in identifying whether the polling was actually carried out correctly or not. Then you can stretch further to ask for the sampling. Was it done by a phone call? If it was done by a phone call, then the people who didn't have phone probably were not part of the polling. You also go to the extent of asking the demographics and then the place where the polling was carried out. I know they said it's a random sampling. But then, because of the result, I am tempted to believe that this polling was carried out online. Because Peter Obi online has a measure of people who are very active for him, much more than the other candidate. And I will tell you why. Because there was an algorithm search and algorithm and data analytics that was carried out that came up with the finding that 57.5% of people who follow Peter Obi and engage for him on social media do not live in Nigeria. In fact, majority of whom are bots on Twitter. They are not real human beings. If you take away 57.5% of the people who are active for him, who probably live abroad and they don't have voters card, they are likely not to come to vote, then what it means is that Peter Obi is basking in the euphoria of hallucination. And this polling is a true reflection of that. I will not even go deeper to talk about the pollsters that they are surrogates of Peter Obi. But the interesting thing you can find out from the result is that if you look at, they say there's a finding from 46 years to 59 and 61 above are the most that say they are willing to vote. Meanwhile, Peter Obi's report says that Peter Obi's movement is that he has the millennials and the demographics of the young people. So how do you juxtapose this? In the polling, they said older people are the ones that are showing excitement to vote, but in real life, he is saying that his strength is drawn from the community of young people. If you ask anybody who understands data and analytics and study, statistics, they will tell you that it is not possible for you to release a polling result without giving the sample size and margin of errors. There are deeper things you can go into that. Then with respect to the second point, when you talk about the chances of a political party, if you look at all the other political parties, you will see you have rightly asked the question. They all lean towards a particular geopolitical zone. For a candidate to become a president in Nigeria, that person must score the highest majority of the lawful vote cast and must have at least 25% in 24 states of the federation. While, for example, NNP is saying we are making inroad into the east, PDP is saying we are already there. While Labour are saying we are trying to make inroad into the north, PDP is saying we are already there. While NNPP are saying we are likely to have a problem with the east because of Peter Obi is there, PDP is even making the bold statement to say we are not only there, but we are dominant and controlling there, because as I speak to you today, and you can verify, there is not a single stakeholder in the entire southeast that is supporting Peter Obi. It is still the social media people. And that is why I even released a tweet today to say that this manipulative strategy that is reflected in the form of polling is to give Nigerians a false sense of belief that Peter Obi is active or stands a chance. And like I told you about, for you to become a president, you must have the highest vote and 25% in 24 states. Peter Obi, if he's able to win 3 states in Nigeria, I will throw the biggest party for him.
All right, let's allow Mr. Onanuga, who speaks for the APC and Bola Tinubu, to weigh in. Mr. Onanuga, give us a sense of how this comes to your team and your party, and of course your candidate, knowing that the poll is not in your favor and you come a distant second with that percentage. Is this a lesson for you to work harder?
No. You see, Sheung, honestly, I do not want to dignify that poll with any comment. We've already released a statement about how we feel about the opinion poll. Well, it's not an opinion poll, really. There was no poll conducted. From the result that we saw, the summary that they gave, I believe some people just sat down somewhere and concocted a so-called poll. If we look at it, the way you have to dismiss it is this. Look at under Southwest. The NOI poll gave our candidates 18% in the Southwest. That is our candidate's own base. How can anybody sit anywhere? You don't even need to do any opinion poll to know that that is the stronghold of our candidate. And then they went to the Northeast and gave our candidate again 18%. Whereas the same people gave Peter Obi for 64% in the Southeast. You can see that there's no logic in this thing. It's a lot of what I
You don't think, Mr. Onanuga, that this looked like a change of time? I mean, a changing scenario in our politics, even across board. The so-called established political parties, there seems that there is a changing, the wheel of change grinding gradually in our politics. Don't you think so? That could be another explanation to these signs that they have put forward.
There's no rule of change in the way the Southwest people will vote in 2023. Historically, the Southwest people will back their own. Everybody knows that. Also, if NYPO can say the Southeast people are going to back Peter Obi, why is it not good for the Southwest to back their own candidate? But besides that, it's not just backing our candidate. The Southwest will back our candidate because it's just a good candidate. It's the best on the field. And that's why we're going to get the support of the Southwest. So, as far as we are concerned in the APC, that poll is something that is only meant for the trash can. It's not something that we should waste our time actually debating or talking about.
Well,
it's not a scientific poll. It's not a computer. It's just a mere trash.
Those who conducted the poll says it's based on science. Sometimes science.
It cannot be based on science.
Now the question is, Mr. Jibrin here has said that your party is in tatters. The party is in trouble. And that your party is like a broken aircraft with a good pilot, which is your candidate. How do you react to that?
Well, that's his own opinion, but it's wrong. Our party is very, very strong. Our party is in a pole position to win this election. And
if you're to, I mean, because you're a very senior journalist in the land, if you use your journalist mind, I mean, that's in the local parlance, if you use your journalist mind, how do you rate your candidate? Is your candidate really looking good at the moment, or you are trying to make amends where you think that things are not right?
We have no doubt at all that our candidate is the person to beat in this election. It's looking good. That is far, far ahead of all his rivals in this race. And we have the belief that come February 25, 2023, He's the man to be win the election, hands down.
All right. Mr. Honorable Jibril, let me come back to you. Now, this race, based on the poll today, is not favoring. And in fact, NOI poll may not be the only platform that has said Kwankwaso may not be right in the front. How do you convince Nigerians, aside your own members, because when you see your members, you know what to tell them. But Nigerians are well discerning. What do you tell them?
Well, I think the best way to get an answer is to investigate what they are saying. Now, for instance, my very good brother, by the way, Daniel, just talked about PDP being everywhere. But what he will not tell you is that PDP being everywhere, how? In 2015, they were defeated roundly. In 2019, they were defeated roundly. In 2023, they will still be defeated roundly. They are not anywhere. Their candidate is not a match to Kwankwaso in the northern part of the country. When you talk about APC, what APC do not want anybody to talk about is the fact that APC has been winning all these previous elections because they always start the election with a balance sheet of 12 million votes because of Buhari. Ask anybody, because of Buhari. Today, that 12 million vote is no longer there. For the first time in 8 years or in 10 years, APC will start a presidential election with zero. Where are they going to get?
But Buhari is still a member of the party, isn't it?
Where are they going to get?
He will still be going around with Buhari, with Tinubu.
But please, let's not even go into that. You all know the problem that there is. Where are they going to get 8 million votes? That's what the leaders of APC are not even addressing now. They will start from zero. Show me one person within APC that can influence that chunk of vote. They cannot have it. And so the reality of the matter is that Kwankwaso has the north locked down, and he will have sufficient votes from the southern part of the country. We're making inways. In Akwa Ibom, we have a very, very good person who is our governorship candidate who is doing well. We have that in Oyo, we have that in Lagos, and a couple of states, and we're going in there full force. By January, the reality will down.
So let me tell you, and I'm happy that my elder brother here was able to knuckle it up for me. He said that lost in 2015. And he also said in another breath that Buhari always brings 20 million votes. So in 2019, with the Buhari and the Asiwajus and the Amechi and the Osibanjo and everybody, they merely escaped with 2 million votes against Atiku. If you do the math, that means out of his 12 million votes, if you take out the 2 million with which he defeated Atiku, that means Atiku has an advantage of 10 million votes over the starters. Now, what I'm trying to say in essence is that in 2019, Atiku, they were only able to smile away with 2 million votes when all of them were together against Atiku. In 2023, Buhari is not going to be there. They have problems with all the presidential aspirants in their party. They are not even moving with them. Recently, they called for a meeting. People say they were not interested to go. So it means that our own candidate, Atiku Abubakar, in the 2023 election, will win this election with a margin of not less than 7 million votes. And let me say one final thing. Because they make the case, they try to make the case we have 22 state governors. Hear this. People have not taken the time to look at the amended Electoral Act. With the electronic transmission of results, there is little a governor can do to influence election.
All right. Mr. Onanuga, let me get your closing thoughts. They said that your party, your candidate will be starting from the very base, from zero.
I would say that's a laughable comment. Our candidate, as I've said on several occasions, we are going to run our election. And we are going to win our election on 2 legs. We are going to piggyback on President Buhari's legacy, his political influence all over the country, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. And we are going to run on the track record of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So we have no problem at all. We believe that this election is ours to win, and we are going to come out very splendid at the end of the election. All
right. Mr. Onanuga, thank you so much indeed. When you get back to Abuja, There's so much to talk about. I will invite you specially with this gentleman. Let us discuss the issues that Nigerians want to hear about this race and how important it is and critical it is for their future. Thank you so much indeed, gentlemen.
Thank you, as always.
Honorable Abunumi Jibrin, Dr. Daniel Buala, and Mr. Bayo Nanuga. Thank you so much, gentlemen. But that's our show for today, everyone. I told you indeed that you don't want to wink or you miss. But that's how we come to the end. I'm sure Kimale. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.